Hi, I'm linehaul Lonnie. How y'all doing today? Anyhow, today's segment, number 6, I'm going to talk about some of the time I spent in the oil field, moving drilling rigs and heavy hauling. It's a whole different breed of trucking. You're using bigger trucks and heavier loads, not on paved highways. You're in the gravel roads back in the backcountry of Alberta or wherever. And you got to be on your game at all time you're hauling heavy loads in soft roads and mud and everything. It's pretty amazing. The first day I went on a rig move, I swamped on a gin pole truck with Hooper, and it was a whole eye opener. You got all these big heavy trucks moving around, unrigging the rig, getting it ready to move. So they're hauling all the buildings out to the lease road for the tractors to haul away to the new location. And they're taking away all the mud tanks and all the buildings away from the rig. So then they can actually take the derrick off the floor of the rig and the motors off the floor of the rig, the drawworks, and get the rig totally ready to be moved to a new location. It's quite a process, and you're just totally baffled at how all these trucks are going all around the lease, these big trucks, and everybody seems to know what you're doing. And you have a truck push orchestrating the whole thing, and it's just craziness at its best. But I was really pleased to work with McLean Brothers Trucking for 4 years, and I swamped for 6 to 7 months. I swamped on a cherry picker with a guy by the name of Fearless Freddy. That was his nickname. And I swamped with on a big bed, a 330-inch Pacific bed truck, and a fellow named Chris Cairns. Rest in peace, Chris. He was my driver, and I swamped for him, and he taught me how to run the winch and load loads and show me all the whereabouts on what to do. And then 7 months later, I got set up on my own winch tractor, and then I was able to go on my own and haul the buildings from location to location, because that's kind of what the winch tractors do. They haul all the buildings, and they take it from one location to the other, come back, get another load, take a location back and forth. And all the bed trucks and gin pole trucks and that, they rig down the rig ready for moving, and then when we get to the new location, they rig it all up and get it ready for drilling. It was quite an experience, and you're using bigger trucks. The rigs are all different sizes. Like you can have a telescoping double rig where the rig, when it's ready to be moved, the derrick telescopes inside itself, and then it lays over on top of the motors on the drawworks and becomes one big load in itself. And then there is another type of rig called a jackknife double, where the derrick lays down off to the side of the rig, and then when you take the pins off of the derrick on the floor of the sub, which is the floor of the rig, you take in the 2 gin pole trucks, swing it off of the edge of off the floor, and then it's set onto a pull trailer, and you pull the derrick as one load down the highway. So consequently, having done that, so you're using your tire change lots, because in the spring and fall of the year, it's not uncommon to chain up on every lease you go in and out of, because of the ground so soft and muddy, and you got even the winch tractors, like you can go chain up, get your load off the old location, drive down the highway, especially if it's an asphalt road. You got to take your chains off, drive 10-15 miles to the location, put your chains on, go in, offload, then come back out, take your chains off, come back to the old location, chain up, go in and get your load. And yeah, there's a lot of chain up involved at times. And some of the guys over there were so experienced operators, and with the trucks, they were the big trucks. We could unchain or chain up a truck, all 4 and a steering tire in 15 minutes. Everybody knew what they were doing. So, story I have is McLean Brothers used to have usually enough trucks to move 2 rigs at the same time, if they were going like 25, 30 miles. And the odd time, if we had a couple of short moves, they would break off into three rig moves. And so the winch tractors would go, if they were close enough, back and forth and haul loads from this rig move and then break off and run over to another rig move and haul a couple, 3 loads for them guys to help with the rig move. And they had some pretty experienced truck pushers. They had Jerry McLean himself, one of the McLean brothers from McLean Brothers Trucking, and then a fellow by the name of Norm Nicklum. They all knew their stuff very well, Norm especially. And then when we did 3 rig moves, Alvin himself would come out of the office, Alvin McLean, and we'd have 3 rig moves going on at the same time. Well, the one move that happened down there south of Little Fish Lake and east of Dorothy, we were moving a rig a short ways. It was an Argus 3 rig, and it was one of the telescoping derricks that went laid down over top of the drawworks, the motors. And it was a high, tall load, heavy, top heavy. So I'd come from another rig move down by Rockyford with Norm Nicklum. We were moving a Laredo rig. And I just arrived on lease, and I was loading the mud tank, and the picker was just about ready to leave the location as well, with a load of drill pipe. And so in the meantime, Alvin's jackknifing the derrick to get it out of the release and turn a corner. And in order to do that, you try and keep the trailer on the high side of the road so that way all the weight is in the middle of the road. And what happened on that day was he told the driver, okay, give her, go. And the culvert caved in. And consequently put the derrick on a lean and laid the derrick on its side. So then Alvin told the picker truck to go the other way, to go left out of the lease and go up towards Fish Lake, Little Fish Lake. So it was a crooked road, and it turned into a dirt road after about a mile. Well, it just so happened, Ron Milton and Bob Alford, they get scooting along this dirt road, and they hit a cloudburst, went around a corner, went into a skid, and they end up laying the picker and pipe on its side. So I'm on the location, and I can't go left, and then finally they moved the rig enough where I could get by with my mud tank, and Alvin says to me, if you roll your truck, walk home. So it was kind of one of the things where sometimes even the most experienced people, stuff happens. And it actually, I found out talking to Norm Nicklum here in just a little while, he said, actually, we moved 4 rigs that day, which I don't remember, but that's fine. He said, we broke a record at McLean Brothers that we'd actually moved 4 rigs that day, which was pretty cool, pretty amazing. Long days too, though. But so there's a cool story that even hauling heavy iron stuff can happen. And Dan McLean, the old man, he was in the office listening to all the goings on, and he's a pretty snoopy guy, an old Scotsman. And he said he's trying to get his figure out how he can come out and see what's going on out there because everybody's talking on the 2-way. He says, hey, I'll go pick up some chicken and pop for the boys. I'll be right up. That was his way of getting out of the office to come and see what's going on. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed that story. It's pretty cool. The tip of the day is when like the weather's been really cold, minus 18, minus 20. So when you hook onto a trailer that's been sitting for a while and you're not sure if you got frozen brakes, like say the guy that parked the trailer had been running in snow and he dynamited the brakes, and then the brake shoes are going to freeze to the brake drum. So a lot of times it's hard to tell if your wheels are skidding or not, but the easiest way I find is I hook up to the trailer, I charge the trailer, sometimes I put a little bit of brake line antifreeze in the emergency line and let that work for a couple minutes. And then I will roll backwards about 1.5 feet, 2 feet. And then when I go out and thump the tires for doing my pre-trip and checking lights and that, usually there will be a dark spot on the tire where it was at the bottom. And once you roll back that 2 feet, it'll show a dark spot on the tire where it was parked. So therefore, that'll tell you that the wheels are in fact turning. If you don't see that, you look down at the tire and you'll see usually that there's a skid mark, and now it's time to crawl underneath and pound on the brakes to free them up. But that's the easiest way I find with pulling the turnpikes with the 253-foot trailers. You have so many sets of brakes and wheels. That's the easiest way I found to check them. Other guys will mark them with a grease pen, mark the tire, and see if the tire turns when they roll backwards or drive forward, or put piles of snow on top of the tires. But the easiest way I found was the way I explained it. Anyhow, hope that helps somebody out there and they won't skid a set of tires off. It'll be very costly and time consuming. So have a great winter with that one. The joke of the day is little Johnny. He's in the mall and he's sitting on Santa's knee. And Santa says, "Hey, little Johnny, what would you like for Christmas?" Little Johnny, being who he was, he says, "I want a friggin' grader." "Oh, okay. Is there anything else you'd like?" "Yeah, I want a friggin' bike too." "Oh, okay. Okay, well, before you get off my knee, is there anything else you'd like?" "Yeah," he says, "I'd like a friggin' tent too." "Okay, well, you have a Merry Christmas and look under the tree and you never know what you'll find." "Okay, bye, Santa." Away he goes. Christmas morning, Johnny jumps out of bed and he runs downstairs and he looks under the tree. There's a big pile of poop there. He goes, "Damn." So then he goes and he runs out to the porch. He says, "Maybe I got my bike." And he goes under and he looks in the park and there's another, in the porch, pardon me, and he's another pile of poop there. He goes, "Damn. Okay, well, maybe I got my tent." So he runs outside and he looks in the yard, another big pile of poop there. He goes, "Damn." So about 10 minutes later, he's wandering around the neighborhood and he runs into his friend Billy walking around. "Hey, Billy, what'd you get for Christmas?" And Billy tells him all the stuff he got and all that. And he said, "Johnny, what did you get for Christmas?" Johnny says, "I think I got a friggin' dog, but I can't find him." Okay, well, the song references for today, I'm going to reference, since how I was talking about the oil field, I'm going to reference a song by the Corb Lund Band, and it's The Roughest Neck of All. It's a good song. Give it a listen. Tells some good oil field terminology on a rig. The second song is a song by I Can Still Make Cheyenne, and it's a trucker version of it by Brad James. It's kind of cool. And the other song is by Janis Joplin, Me and Bobby McGee. And then I have one more final one that I really like, and that's by Eddie Rabbitt, Driving My Life Away. Okay, hope everybody has a great day. Keep the greasy side down and the shiny side up. We'll catch you on the flip-flop. And also, stay tuned for a short slideshow of all of the oil field trucks and oil field rig moving that I have. Thank you. Have a great day.